Hello and welcome to Industrial Distribution's Big 50 Video Countdown. ID's highly anticipated list takes our audience through the biggest MRO distributors based on sales volume. We'll take you from number 50 all the way to number 1 and provide some market insight along the way, hopefully providing some context as to why these movers and shakers have fared the way they have. Joining me today is Jack Keough, contributing editor of Industrial Distribution and the founder of the Big 50 list, as well as Jeff Reinke, editorial director of ID. I'm Anna Wells, executive editor. We'd like to thank you for joining us today and extend a special thank you to UPS, our premium sponsor.
Without further ado, let's get started with our number 50 company. Cummins Wagner is new to the list, having established itself as a formidable player this past June when it surpassed the $100 million mark for the first time in company history. Cummins Wagner is a distributor of mechanical equipment for the industrial process, water, wastewater, food and beverage, and HVAC markets. Number 49 company is showing a $14 million improvement over last year. JGB Enterprises, a distributor of hydraulic and industrial hoses, saw a combined expansion of over 45,000 square feet company-wide and experienced some success on the retail side with the perfect garden hose product.
The number 48 slot is once again represented by Kansas-based IBT. 2013 saw this distributor revise its company name from IBT Incorporated to IBT Industrial Solutions. According to Director of Marketing Anthony Aiken, the new name better reflects the company's comprehensive service offerings, saying, "We're not just about selling parts. Our true value is in the total package of what we provide." Perry Supply claims number 47 on our list at $152 million. CEO Charles Beasley said, "I am proud to say that even with the depressed domestic coal market, Perry Supply closed the 2013 year with solid sales across our major markets."
At number 46 on our list is Flint, Michigan-based Shively Brothers. The company launched its newest division this year, Shively Supply. According to company head Scott Shively, the new division's dedicated focus will be serving the needs of small and medium-sized manufacturers with traditional standard distribution sales. The company has also expanded beyond cutting tools and abrasives to offer more of a one-stop shopping experience. Jack, last year we talked a lot about the one-stop shopping concept, its role in distribution. It's becoming more popular with their customers. What are you seeing continuing into this year?
We're seeing that actually happen in a greater proportion, I think, than we did in previous years. Just to name a couple of companies which have successfully implemented such a strategy would be Kaman Industrial. Kaman has purchased a company a few years ago called Zeller Automation. They've also bought Florida Bearings. They've been long known as a power transmission powerhouse, but they've really expanded their offerings and they're selling more on a joint basis. Another company which has done this successfully is Wesco. Wesco Distribution used to be known as a pure electrical distributor. Of course, on our list now, clearly shows that it's heavily involved in MRO and supply chain integration. But they've taken a couple of interesting steps through their One Wesco strategy, which is to sell more products to more customers, as well as to new customers through some acquisitions. And their acquisitions have been very successful. They have really branched into the safety area, for example, in which they bought Connie Safety a couple of years ago, and they bought Hazmasters in Canada, which is one of the largest independent distributors in the country of safety supplies. So you can see what's happening is this whole one-stop shopping technique is making it easy for customers to do business with the distributor, and I think you're going to see more of it.
So is specialization going away, or is this just working in some facets?
No, it's still there, of course. Specialization is going to continue, especially for smaller and mid-sized distributors. It's simply the case of some distributors buying adjacent product groups so that they can open up new market for themselves as well as for their acquisitions.
At number 45 on our list, Womack Machine Supply Company's sales dipped a bit from last year, which is something the company attributes to slow energy and mining markets, as well as last year's sale of its California operations, Applied International Motion. The company that bought Womack's West Coast operations is, incidentally, our number 44 company, Valen Corporation, with sales of $183 million. Additional activity from Valen this past year includes its acquisition of Salt Lake City-based Disco Associates and a merger with Lang Engineering Equipment Company in San Jose, California.
Our number 43 company on the list is Tencarva Machinery Company with $187 million in sales, who was beat out by Kimball Midwest by a mere $3 million in sales this year. At number 42, Kimball Midwest CEO Patrick McCurdy says the company's growth is a direct reflection of its outstanding sales force and internal staff. Ohio Transmission Corporation lands at number 41 as we crack the $200 million mark on this year's list. Ohio Transmission announced earlier this year an infusion of capital from private investor Frontenac Company. Ohio Transmission's OTP Industrial Solutions Group acquired Advanced Industrial Product in March of this year.
With all the acquisitions and capital infusions we've seen this year, we decided to seek out some expertise on what's on the minds of distributors when they consider mergers and acquisitions. Will Burnett, managing partner of Austin, Texas-based Owner Resource Group, provided some insight into what's been influencing M&A activity for distributors.
So there are lots of factors influencing the activity of M&A in the industrial distribution segment. The biggest one always has been the fact that this market is highly fragmented. You know, there are lots of ways to define the industrial distribution segment. If you look at it, it's at least $100 billion in annual revenue, and only about a third of that is controlled by the big public companies. So it's a highly fragmented space. And that fact will drive consolidation as it has from the beginning of the segment. So there are also quite a few other factors in play. Companies are looking to expand their geographic reach. They're looking to acquire new products that they can cross-sell with their existing products and add more value to their customers. It's a lot easier to acquire these things than to build them from scratch, and it also obviously increases the ability for a company to get into a new geography or a new set of products or services very quickly. Another thing that's driving this segment is the technology challenges that companies are facing, with e-commerce being a new threat, and then the logistics issues that companies are working through. A great way to tackle those issues is through acquiring a company that's very good at those types of things. There's quite a bit of cash out there. Companies are looking to deploy their capital. They have strong balance sheets, and that also is a big factor in driving M&A in the industrial distribution segment.
Thanks, Will. I'm sure we'll see more and more activity in the second half of the year. Wrapping up the first 10 companies in our Big 50, we have FCX Performance, number 40. FCX has itself announced several acquisitions since the start of 2013, including Pierce Pump, Florida Ceiling Products, and just a few weeks back, Pump Energy Incorporated. Stick with us, because after the break, we'll cover numbers 39 to 30 and talk to McLadry about the most surprising results of this year's Distribution Monitor.
Welcome to the world of innovation, where Epicor inspires distribution customers to think anew about business. Our software solutions allow you to efficiently procure goods and fulfill orders so that you deliver products when, where, and how your customers want them, connecting people and processes across your entire supply chain by helping you automate your competitive edge. Epicor, where inspired minds inspire business, and inspired businesses inspire the world.
Hydrodyne LLC takes our number 39 slot with $225 million in sales. The company cited large sales growth in automotive, energy, and CapEx spending by manufacturers as they onshore more production. Our number 38 company is Van Meter Incorporated, a Cedar Rapids, Iowa-based distributor of electrical, lighting, power transmission, datacom, and automation products. Lawson Products claims the number 37 slot with nearly $270 million in sales. The company has so far spent 2014 expanding its sales force by 15 to 20%, which, Jack, I think you might agree has been a fairly common strategy amongst distributors this year.
You're absolutely right, Anna. If you were to take a look at the top 50 companies as we are today, you'd see that almost all of them are looking to hire additional salespeople. It wasn't that many years ago that some people were predicting the demise of the outside salesperson simply because of disintermediation and the internet. Well, that hasn't happened. Fastenal, just as one example, they hired 900 people in part-time sales force positions so that the outside salesperson can spend more time with their customers. I think it's going to pay off well for them. Grainger, MSC, Command, they're all hiring additional outside salespeople, and it's definitely a part of their strategic growth.
So not exactly a demise just yet.
Absolutely not. You're going to see an increased hiring of salespeople in the years to come.
Coming in at number 36, we have Production Tool Supply, a company whose sales have jumped quite nicely from $239 million in 2012 to $276 million in 2013. The company cites increased inventories, improved logistic capabilities, and continuous e-platform improvements like a virtual catalog, real-time inventory, and new search engine capabilities as key components of its sales growth. Our number 35 company, R.S. Hughes of Sunnyvale, California, also posted an increase over last year. While the company occupies the same slot in our list, its sales have increased over 11%. President Pete Biosini said that the Mexico North region and the Northeast region led all geographic regions respectively with 21% and 17% sales growth in the company's 2013 fiscal year.
Essex Brownell takes our number 34 slot with $300 million in sales. This distributor of supplies for electrical and motor repair needs was right on the heels of number 33, AWC Incorporated. AWC said that sales growth moderated in 2013 after several years of rapid growth, but that double-digit organic growth is again expected in 2014 due to the strength of AWC's primary markets, including oil and gas, refining, chemical, and pulp and paper. Slow or moderate growth was not unusual in fiscal year 2013, so we were interested to learn about some of the growth strategies distributors cited in this year's Distribution and Manufacturing Monitor by McGladrey. We asked Karen Kirk, National Leader for Industrial Products for McGladrey, to provide us with a little insight into what the research firm is hearing from their distributors.
One of the top strategies that distributors indicated for growth in our survey related to mergers and acquisitions. And in fact, 37% of the respondents said that they were planning on making an acquisition in the next 12 months. So I think we're continuing to see the consolidation in the industry. And this is something that distributors that are looking for growth are looking for strategic companies that they can merge with. And they're also, related to that, that is a comprehensive strategy, just because when you're looking to do an acquisition, that really taxes a lot of the resources of many companies. But I think that distributors are realizing that this is the best way for them to grow their business. We asked several questions about what are some of your biggest challenges to growth. And what was interesting is that government regulation, again, topped the list. In fact, it came out even higher than concern over competitor competition. And, these are things related to the implementation of the Affordable Care Act, to EPA regulations, regulations that govern transporting goods, and that continues to be a challenge for many distributors. Also high on the list was their concern over taxation. The fact that many middle market distributors are organized as pass-through entities, they're taxed at the individual level. And in 2014, they all got about a 5% tax increase. So that also has had a negative impact on their cash flow.
Thanks, Karen. Jumping back to our number 32 company, Gas and Supply grew from $289 million in 2012 to $325 million in 2013. CEO Lori Kearns said Gas and Supply, a Raymond Martin company, has started 4 new locations. At number 31 is DGI Supply with $330 million. DGI Supply's sales grew both organically and through acquisition in 2013. According to the company, it is investing in its distribution centers, call centers, and e-commerce platform to ensure sustainable growth in 2014 and beyond.
And wrapping up the 30s is Wajax Industrial Components at $340 million. Wajax had a comparatively quieter year when looking at 2013, where the company made several acquisitions, a strategic alliance with Command, and also saw the departure of its senior vice president, Adrian Trotman. When we return, we'll cover numbers 20 through 29 and discuss some of the developments by the big players outside of B2B, including Google and Alibaba.
We're back and ready to kick off the 20s. Blackhawk Industrial takes our number 29 slot with $350 million in sales. A steady improvement of nearly 10% over 2012 sales, this uniquely positioned distributor has made acquisitions of 18 companies since its inception in the fall of 2010. And the company tells us it continues to have a keen focus to acquire additional North American-based industrial distributors to further build out its portfolio of regional distribution companies.
At number 28 on our list, we have Ewe Group of Ann Arbor, Michigan. President Dalit Mullick says Ewe Group will continue to grow revenues by expanding into diverse global customers. To get to number 27, we jumped nearly $200 million, where we find Turtle & Hughes of Linden, New Jersey. Turtle & Hughes points to its implementation of a new enterprise system as key company news, along with the formation of its national energy group, Turtle & Hughes Energy. The company's sales have increased more than 7% over the 2012 list.
So genuine parts companies will hit this list twice. Spoiler alert, the first time with number 26, EIS Incorporated. EIS distributes process materials, production supplies, specialty wire and cable, and value-added fabricated parts for OEMs, motor repair, and assembly. Jack, we're getting into the part of the list where we see bigger companies with more resources, and I think it's interesting to note that companies of all sizes seem to be keeping a close watch on online competitors outside of B2B. Besides Amazon Supply, which Jeff Bezos still remains very tight-lipped about, we've seen some interesting activity out of Google, who I think surprised many when they shut down Google Shopping for Suppliers this past June. What are your thoughts on that move by Google?
Well, I think the real surprise is that anyone knew that Google Shopping for Suppliers existed. It was opened without much fanfare and closed the same way. I don't know whether there was any type of marketing done on that or whatever, but the distributors I talked to didn't even know that it actually had been in existence. But I think what you are going to see in the future is more e-retailers coming into the distribution marketplace.
At number 25 on our list, Bossart is nipping at the heels of number 24, the United Distribution Group. The latest news from Bossart suggests that the global company is seeing growth in areas like Asia and Europe. UDG, on the other hand, has been on acquisition quick, with subsidiaries GHX and McCarty Equipment making deals in 2014, and UDG itself acquiring Dandy Specialties. At number 23, BDI represents $659 million of sales in 2013. Besides continuing a global rollout of its One BDI SAP system, the company is focused on continued expansion in the US, China, Europe, Mexico, and India.
Number 22 company Industrial Distribution Group posted big gains, improving 21% over 2012 and jumping 2 spots. According to IDG, this was accomplished through additional market share in its integrated supply line of business and an additional acquisition in its energy line of business. At 21, FW Webb of Bedford, Mass. Has been busy opening new locations, as well as expanding into Pennsylvania, the 9th state for FW Webb, extending this wholesale supplier's reach in the Northeast.
Our number 20 company, Command, has cracked the $1 billion mark this year. Big acquisitions for this distributor in the past 12 months include Western Fluid Components, Inc. in August of last year, and B.W. Rogers Company this spring. So Jack, what do you think about Command this year?
I think Command has done some terrific things, both in this year and the past 12 months, as you mentioned. I think its purchase of B.W. Rogers was the talk of the industry in this past year. It made Command one of the larger distributors of Parker in the country, and they intend on buying more companies. But its purchase of a number of companies this past year has really widened its scope and breadth of product lines. From its purchase of Zeller Automation, which I mentioned earlier, its agreement with Schneider Electric, its purchase of Florida Bearings, I think you're going to see Command doing a lot of interesting things this next year.
Stay tuned as we look at the top 20 distributors and discuss the sleeping giant of the East, Alibaba.
Does this complex interconnected environment look familiar? Understanding a distributor's business is the most important thing we do. With more than 30 years delivering solutions specifically for distributors, Infor is changing the way distribution is done. With innovative social, mobile, analytics, and cloud solutions, distributors can increase demand, eliminate operational leaks, and pump up gross margins with advanced inventory management, streamlined rebate processing, and better pricing controls. Take a fresh look at modernizing and automating your distribution enterprise with Infor.
At number 19, DXP Enterprises. The company has gone from $1.1 billion last year to $1.24 billion this year. This expansion-hungry company has finalized 18 acquisitions since 2010, 4 of which were completed in 2013. The company also says that it has enhanced onboarding workshops and technical training in order to improve the skills and effectiveness of new sales professionals.
On number 18 this year is Edging Group, coming in at $1.3 billion. Edging Group was acquired by Sumitomo Corporation in November of 2013. On number 17 is Jacksonville, Florida-based Interline Brands. Though this company's last acquisition was in 2012, it continues to show healthy growth, coming in at $1.6 billion in sales.
Wynn Wholesale takes our number 16 slot, the same place as last year, but exhibiting growth of $300 million and pushing into the $2 billion plus category. Just ahead of Wynn is Netherlands-based Eriks, owner of former Big 50 company Louis Getz, acquired in 2011. 2013 saw Eriks making acquisitions in Slovakia, Germany, Scotland, and Canada. As we reach the point of the list where the companies featured are more global in nature, I don't think we can move forward without at least mentioning Alibaba, the e-commerce giant coming out of China. We recently ran a video from supply chain expert Jim Tompkins where he relates the sheer market share of Alibaba in China and just what that means in the context of the US marketplace.
Alibaba has 80% of the online business in the largest e-commerce market in the world. In year 2014, I believe Alibaba will do $420 billion. This is out of a total of $520 billion in China. In the United States, we only do $475 billion. I believe in year 2020 that in China, they will do more e-commerce business than we will see in the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, France, and Germany combined.
It's pretty astounding stuff from Jim, Jack. Where do you think Alibaba is going to fit into the mix here?
Well, I think it's going to play an important role. Alibaba is going public, and it's predicted that this could be one of the largest, if not the largest, IPOs in history. Alibaba, through its subsidiary 11 Main Street, is going to create an impact. And originally it's going to be just for retail type products, but everyone predicts that it's going to go into industrial supplies. And as Jim pointed out, Alibaba actually makes money, unlike Amazon. But we're going to see some other e-retailers coming into this business on a little larger scale. Home Depot, for example, is setting up its own warehousing system just for online ordering. Despite its huge size, Home Depot supply online only gets 3% of its sales that way. And I think they want to expand it greatly. And there's other companies that are going to be looking at the same type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Our number 14 company is MSC Industrial Supply, a company with 11 customer fulfillment centers, 103 branch offices, and this year, just under $2.5 billion in sales. Coming off the major 2013 acquisition of Barnes Distribution North America, MSC says the deal added 30,000 new customers to its base. MSC completed the construction of its co-headquarters in Davidson, North Carolina to accommodate future expansion and produced a new web platform at mscdirect.com.
Just eking ahead of MSC this year is Applied Industrial Technologies at number 13 with $2.5 billion in sales. Says Applied, we strengthened our capabilities to serve upstream oil and gas customers with the acquisitions of Texas Oil Patch Services and Reliance Industrial Products. And we announced the definitive agreement to acquire Knox Oil Field Supply.
Number 12 brings us to one of the most interesting stories on the list, in my opinion. Fastenal posted a strong 2013 with $3.3 billion in sales, and yet 2014 has people wondering what the company is up to. In particular, when Fastenal announced it would close 45 stores in the second half of the year after reporting a 10% sales increase for the first 6 months of the year. Jack, you wrote a blog on this topic. It was widely read as one of the most popular things that people have responded to. What do you think is going on with Fastenal right now?
Well, I think Fastenal, it's just a change in what their operating system is. They're still opening a lot of stores, despite the fact they're closing 45 by the end of the year. They're still opening a lot of stores. Fastenal has been so successful. They were started originally by Bob Keelan, who just retired in April. You know, as a fastener company. They're no longer a fastener company. What they've evolved into is a full MRO distributor where fasteners only make up a much smaller percentage of their sales. Fastenal is going to increase its business through its industrial vending systems business, and it's also going to be expanding. I don't think anybody has to worry about Fastenal down the road.
Our number 11 company, Descours et Cabot, is the parent company of well-known outfits like Dillon Supply and BMG Metals, and 2013 sales came in around $4 billion. At number 10, we have Distribution Now, which may feel like a newcomer to the list, but is actually the publicly traded spin-off of NOV Wilson. Says the company, this separation enables us to have the operational flexibility to focus on our specific products, services, and customers.
Don't go away now. When we return, we'll count down the top 10.
We want our customers to turn out the very best product. If we make only the best, we help them make only the best.
Helping our customers being more successful. That's what we are about.
Our customers know when they buy a Walter product, they're going to have the best performing product that they can get.
When I think of Walter products, I think of the best. The best.
The best and only the best.
My number 9 company is a familiar name, Genuine Parts Motion Industries. Motion had a formidable year, yielding sales of nearly $4.5 billion. Motion acquired Commercial Solutions Incorporated, which closed this year, and also added Paragon Service and Supply to its assets in late 2013. At number 8, Airgas nearly hit the $5 billion mark and has continued to acquire companies on a regular basis, including Hember Limited and Team Welding most recently.
Number 7 on the Big 50 list is MRC Global, which yielded $5.2 billion in sales. Notable acquisitions in the past 12 months have spanned the globe and included MSD Engineering in Singapore and Hyptech AS, a Norway-based provider of instrumentation and process control products. Annixter takes our number 6 slot with $6.2 billion in sales. The company generated some high visibility this spring when it was rumored to be for sale, but nothing came to fruition. The company's sales were primarily steady in 2013. Jack, one of the companies in the top 10 with the most upward sales mobility has been our number 5 company, Wesco. They've posted a gain of nearly $1 billion, and they've expanded their breadth by getting into the safety business. What do you see some of the top 10 companies on this list really saying about consolidation?
Well, it's interesting to note, Jeff, first of all, that consolidation and mergers and acquisitions have been going on at a record pace. In fact, the highest rate since the late 1980s. But we're seeing the beginning of an early phase of consolidation and distribution, according to some of the top 10 executives. Just as a quick example, Eric Gershwin, who's the CEO of MSC, said that we're in the early phases of a consolidation era in distribution, and he plans on his company being an active participant in it. And he's not alone. Jim Ryan of Grainger, the CEO of that company, recently said that, again, we're in the beginning stages of a consolidation era. And they're looking for companies, MSC is looking for companies, everybody does. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see one of our top 20 being acquired in the next year.
So Jack, are these acquisitions, are they going to be larger scale, or are they going to be some of the smaller folks as well?
Well, if you take a look at what Airgas has done, 400 acquisitions in the past 20 years or whatever, but they've been a lot of the smaller acquisitions recently. They're looking for a larger acquisition. I think everyone is looking to position themselves to increase market share, and that's going to come through acquisition.
At number 4 this year, we have HD Supply. 2013 was a big year for this company, who last summer raised $957 million in its IPO. So far in 2014, HD Supply has made some changes to the branding of its segments. HD Supply White Cap, Crown Bolt, Creative Touch Interiors, and Repair and Remodel have been rebranded as HD Supply Construction and Industrial, HD Supply Hardware Solutions, HD Supply Interior Solutions, and HD Supply Home Improvement Solutions, respectively.
At number 3, we have W.W. Grainger with a sales figure of $9.4 billion. Grainger has broken some barriers from a digital standpoint. Internet Retailer says Grainger is the 15th largest internet seller, a group combining B2B and B2C alike. Grainger told us the company now has 1.2 million products available through its catalog and online site and serves more than 2 million active customers.
Our number 2 company is Worth Group, the Germany-based distributor of assembly and fastening products. In its core business, the Worth line has a product range for craft and industry that comprises over 100,000 products.
And finally, our number 1 company. It's one who has remained virtually unchanged for countless years. It's UK-based Wolseley. This distributor posted a sizable increase in 2013, moving it above $20 billion in annual sales. Wolseley appears to be focusing more on its core, as evidenced by the disposal of its Austrian plumbing and heating business this spring. CEO Ian Meekins said it was part of a strategy focusing on our core operations where we can build significant scale and generate attractive returns. So we've covered a lot of ground today, and we've done a lot of looking backwards, but I think our audience would probably love to know what you think we can expect going forward for the rest of the year.
I think there's good news ahead. If you take a look at the latest manufacturing numbers and construction activity, things are starting to come together. Is there be strong growth? I don't think so, but steady, slow growth. If you take a look at what happened in the first quarter, that horrible weather that gripped the country, a lot of projects were stalled and put off, but we've seen those projects back online again in the second quarter. I think you're going to see that continued growth for the rest of the year.
Good.
There are a few companies that did not make our list based on the fact that we weren't able to reach them with our request for information. Those companies we think would have been in contenders include Hisco, SupplyCorp, Fairmont Supply, Canadian Bearings, and of course McMaster Carr.
That's it for this year's Big 50 list. For print version, including more information on each listed company, look for our September-October print issue, which will be arriving in early September. In that issue, you'll also see a separate breakout of the list of the top 25 electrical distributors.
We'd like to thank all the companies who participated in our compilation, and once again, thank our premium sponsor, UPS. To our audience, be sure to visit our website for daily updates on the happenings of Big 50 companies. Thanks for joining us.